What up, world? Let me just start from the top. This is a story about your boy, Charles Brown, CEO of CLBMG, an MC, a promoter, just an all-around entrepreneur. I've been involved with some of the dopest shows, with some of the illest MCs in the game.
What up, world? We back. Promoter Story, episode 4. I want to talk a little bit more about these interesting shows that I feel like you need to know about. This episode I'm gonna deal with Slaughterhouse, Joe Budden's, and what went down and how I do what I do. And if you're a promoter or artist trying to get in the game, little tidbits of information that may help you out as you go along. So all right, so when I first started dealing with Slaughterhouse, this was way back. Man, it's a while back. I got a lot of video footage of all the shows that we did, but when I first dealt with him, I was starting to make some noise in the game, and people was calling me because I started to be one of the top guys bringing artists here. I was doing like Killer Priest, Cannabis, Lloyd Banks, Papoose, Cameron, stuff like that. So when I was rocking with Jerkies they would contact the artist and hit me up to be a promoter or one of the promoters, mostly the main promoter on the event, depending on the event. So this wasn't the case with Slaughterhouse. With Slaughterhouse, I got hit up with this dude that he's an artist out here. And he hit me up saying, yo, Charles, I got this connect. This dude, they hit me up. Royce the 5'9's manager, his name is Keno. And Keno was looking to bring Royce out here because Slaughterhouse was touring, but they were doing separate dates. Like Royce was rolling with Crooked Eye on certain dates, and then Buttons was rolling with Ortiz on certain dates. They weren't rolling at Slaughterhouse together. They were doing solo dates, but they were paired up. He was like, I can get you Crooked Eye. So I was like, all right, bet. So let me talk to him and see what we can do or whatever. So I talked to Keno. We got on the phone on three-way or whatever. And the funny thing is, me and the dude that introduced me to Keno, that ended up turning into a bad relationship at the end of the day. But yeah, so before all that happened, because see, a lot of people, when they do stuff, they bring you an idea they want to cut and things like that, but then sometimes they'll do a back deal cut on the back end and not tell you. And you know what I'm saying, people just, they see stars in their eyes. They want to get money off your work, and they want to get money directly from you, and then get money directly from the artist people too. So it's like double dipping, and it's you can't do that. That's bad business. So basically, end of the day, I was talking to Keno, and it was like everything was sounding good. Keno liked what he heard. Blah blah blah. He's like, yeah, we can do Royce, and Crooked gonna be, just so happen to be in town with Royce that for that period of time. We could do Royce and Crooked. So I was like, all right. So I got one half of Slaughterhouse. So why don't I just see where Buttons and them gonna be? Where Button and Joel gonna be? Come to find out, they was touring in New England at the same time. So I was like, Keno can connect with all four of them. So I was like, yo, let's do Slaughterhouse weekend. And I ain't never heard of nobody doing this. I put Royce and Crooked on, I believe it was either a Friday night or Saturday night, and then I put Joel and Buttons the next night. So I think it was either Friday and Saturday, or it was a Saturday and Sunday. I don't remember. But I had Crooked and Royce at Tommy's, and then I put Buttons with Ortiz on at Jerky's. So everything was good to go. It was like, yo, we're gonna do this. Kenan was like, all right, let's roll with it. I'm a believe in you. I think you can get this done. Mind you, I wasn't no super promoting the business, but my name was getting heavy. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't like top dog, but because there was so much competition, but I was becoming one. So he was like, I'm gonna roll with you and we're gonna see what happens. So I end up getting I started getting other promoters involved, and not many, but I got one or two other promoters involved, and the show was rolling, blah blah blah. So this was funny thing about the game. What I do is I take big risk for big reward. So the big risk was putting on this type of show, 2 shows, 2 different venues on a weekend where people could be doing something else. And at this time, Slaughterhouse was still trying to make a name. I don't know if people understand, Slaughterhouse hadn't even signed with Eminem yet. It was rumors. So this was a risk. This was a real risk. And the Buttons Ortiz show was more of a lock than the Royce and the Crooked Eye. But nevertheless, we went ahead and did it. I ended up contacting some dudes out here that promote. They got involved as far as on their end with they had radio influence and things like that. So we had got a couple other people involved. So then as the show started getting closer, a lot of little problems started popping up. Like this thing with this dude who made these little deals with Keno. This stuff started to come out that you're getting a cut on both ends, which means you're not doing anything, but you're getting a cut on both sides, and you're not telling both sides what's going on. So I found that to be some bullshit. So me and this dude wasn't seeing eye to eye no more, but we still, he's still a part of the show, blah blah blah. And this is the shit that people don't see. Like when they see somebody coming at you on Facebook with these little comments and negative shit and then whatever, a lot of times there's something that happened behind that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, dude, maybe they coming at you crazy on Facebook and they got slick shit to say, but they're not saying the full story. It's more shit to it. But this dude will be on Facebook just dissing your company, dissing whatever, a month later, but he won't say, yeah, I tried to snake that man. You know what I'm saying? He'll be like, oh, whatever, and talking shit, but they won't say what their side of the shit is. So end of the day, the show went off. The night of the show, hectic, crazy. I had so much pressure to put these 2 shows together, and a lot of stuff was falling apart last minute. It was rumors on Joe Budden TV that Joe Budden wasn't going to perform. I went in the chat room and went at some dudes like, yo, listen, Budden's going to be there. And they were like, yeah, right, buddy. We already know your game. He's not coming. He already told us he's not coming. Buttons was coming. But it was a lot of problems on my end that I had to resolve to make sure that Buttons came to that show. End of the day, we have Royce and Crooked Eye the first night. I got tore up drunk. If you see the picture of me, I'm like, I ain't never been this drunk at the show, because the simple fact that I even had this show happen was amazing. Because what it is, sometimes you just have a lot of things. You got to get their rooms. You got to make sure they're comfortable, their travel, food, things like that. And all of that stuff adds up, especially when you're dealing with everybody with their hands out and people snaking you and this and that and the third. And you got your own problems going on at your own life. So it's like, when that show happened, I got tore up drunk. By the time Crooked Eye performed, I don't even remember nothing he did. It was Royce and Crooked Eye, and I was at the table with my head like this bent. And I don't never get drunk at my shows. Not like that. But it was so much pressure that we got it done. The night went off without a hitch. I got pictures with both of them. ALE, we went hard that night. The other promoters, they got their money. Everybody counted up. Everything was good. So the next night was Joel and Buttons. Mind you, this is the funny part. I sent Vic, who goes and picks up, he was going picking up a lot of artists for me, to go down and get Buttons and Ortiz. And he used to work at the rental car place, so he got a van. So I get a call that day that Buttons and Ortiz is on the way up. And Vic goes, Charles, Buttons want to talk to you. Budden want to talk to you. So I'm like, all right, put him on. He's like, yo, is this Charles? I'm like, yeah, this is Charles. What's going on? What's good? He's like, why'd you send, what is your name, bud? Victor? Why'd you send Victor in a mini-ass minivan? This is a minivan. I got 6 guys with me. And you expect us, and my girl, you expect us all to fit in this minivan. And we got to go pick up Ortiz. So I'm like, what people don't understand is before you even go to pick somebody, if that's in the contracts, a lot of times they get there on their own. But if you're going to go pick somebody up, you need to know how many people. If you're telling me, I was told it was going to be 4 people. So we got a van. Victor got a van that he thought would accommodate 4 people. Not 6. And then still got to get Ortiz and he got people. So Buttons is tight. He's like, you know what? Don't worry about it, Charles. We'll make it work. We'll make it work. My man, he's going to drive his whip up there. We're going to get there. Don't worry about it. So we gotta, he's like, all right, you gotta throw him some money. So we gotta pay some extra added on expense. Mind you, the expenses are through the roof already. Rooms and this and that and the third, da. Mind you, we bought rooms and they didn't even use them. We bought, which is not the first time this has happened. We bought rooms and they wanted to go back the same night. Mind you, Victor stayed there the whole show, watched the whole show. They didn't enter 2 in the morning. 2:30, they still doing autographs. 3 o'clock, Buttons tells Vic, we ready to go home. Vic's like, I can't drive you home. He's like, no, you're driving us home. So Vic been up all day, drove to Jersey, then drove to New York to get Ortiz, and now they're telling him 3 in the morning, you're driving us back to New York and Jersey. So that's what happened with Vic, and that's one of the last shows Victor picked up. It's not the last show, but it's one of the last shows. They put Victor through so much that Vic was like, I don't know. And Vic just started falling back. But so, end of the day, they come up, they perform. And it's funny because people don't know, Budden's been this way for a minute. Budden's been like this for a minute. This is probably like 09. And Buttons was so crazy rude that night that my girl was like, she didn't even know Buttons like that, and she's from Jersey. She was like, yo, you represent Jersey, bro. You need to chill out. You're acting crazy right now. And he looked at her and she's like, I'm from Jersey and we don't act like this. And from that moment, he became the most pleasant, polite person you ever seen in your life. He took a picture with them. We have the picture. He hugged them. He gave her a big hug. He ended up taking pictures with most of the people in the crowd after the show was over. After she said that. And I'll never forget. I'm like, shorty, you checked Joe Budden. It was funny. So, Victor ends up, long story short, Victor ends up driving him back down the same night. And he has to basically try to stay awake. He's popping coffee, Red Bull, He drives down and back up. So mind you, he drives down to Jersey, drop them wherever everybody's going, and then back up the same night. I don't think Victor got home till probably 7 o'clock in the morning, 8. I don't even know what time he got home. But yeah, so they stretched that man to the limit. And me and the dude that actually introduced me to Keno end up having fallouts. And I don't even be doing public fallouts on the book. But we was on Facebook going at it. And just stupid stuff. It's just silly shit that I don't even participate. Like, this is like 7, 8 years ago. Right now, you can't get into a Facebook fight with me. I'm above that. You're not. I'll call you. I'll see you. We're not doing Facebook. We're not doing that. Like, it ain't like that. Like, in this game, you got to get to a certain level where it doesn't matter what they're saying on Facebook. That has to be resolved in person. Because a dude will say anything in Facebook. anything reckless. I need to see you in your eyes. We need to speak like grown men. I can't be sitting here going back and forth with you on Facebook. But okay, so let's move on. That went off without a hitch. I ended up building a relationship with Keno, and Bud's manager. I can't remember her name right now. I should have did my homework. I can't remember her name. Keno's manager, Budden manager, and Ortiz manager. So they called me up. They had an investor who was working the digital product of when Slaughterhouse was about to drop and the rumors was out that they were going to sign with Shady. They wanted to drop something before they signed that deal, and they wanted to do a tour and capitalize before they signed that deal. This is not public knowledge, and the deal was taking too long. So they hit me up about doing a short New England run. They wanted to do Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Mass. I end up booking all 3 shows myself, and hitting up promoters in different regions. There was a lot of back and forth. A lot of stuff that I was saying we should do was like, you know, it was a committee vote type of thing. And me being out here in these streets, I knew what was best. But a lot of times you get people who not in these streets and they're thinking about the most money to make instead, or how much money we can save, how much money we can make. So I was Audio Link Entertainment. I was contracted to book these venues, book these openers, put bodies in these buildings, and make a profit. I wasn't given anything up front. It was a commission type of thing. It wasn't a thing where I paid them X amount of dollars. It was a thing where we were all going to eat. And once all the money was counted, everything was put together, we were all going to eat. All right, so mind you, I had no support from the outside. There was no support. It was me doing it myself. Me and my wife. So we booked. I knew Providence was going to be a slam dunk. Connecticut was going to be iffy because that's a region where they're not really into a lot of certain stuff, and the actual venue was not. It was a big, nice venue, but they didn't do a lot of hip hop, so they weren't going to give you much support. I wanted to go to Toad's Place. We even contacted Toad's Place, and Toad's Place wanted the show. They gave us an offer, which was it was like, yo, you need to go to Toad's with this show. I got the emails and everything, and no one on the staff of these people wanted to go to Toad's. They wanted to go to the venue where we just paid the venue fee and that was it. Toad's was taking a portion of the door, which was fair for the amount of promo they were going to do. So we ended up going with another venue that ain't even open no more. It was something warehouse, the warehouse. We ended up going there, which meant I was going to bear the brunt of promo in Connecticut where I don't have a foothold. All I know is a bunch of artists. I don't have a foothold in Connecticut. So they wanted me to do that, which ended up me putting on all these openers, which ended up, Joe Buttons ended up tweeting a comment about the openers, clowning the openers at the show, and these dudes saw the comment and it was about to go crazy. It was about to get nuts in there, and I had to deal with all that. So that was the incident. I don't know if people remember him tweeting something about openers, and it caused a massive hysteria. Everybody online was like, yeah, you know, some people hate openers, some people were openers, so they were pissed off. That was at my event. So the Connecticut show, a lot of stuff happened, and it trickled down. So it trickled down into we had Rhode Island the last night. That was going to be a slam dunk. Connecticut, then we went to Mass, and we did it at we ended up at Puffer Bellies up in the Cape, and we had another promoter from out there, and he did a good job. So that was a good show. Again, we had a bunch of openers, and people was like, whatever. Some of these shows won't survive without openers. And I know people love saying, I'm tired of these fucking openers. They whack, da-da-da. That artist wouldn't even be there if it wasn't for the openers. And that's what people need to understand. And even if you took all the openers off, you would be standing there with a DJ playing all these songs for 3 hours because the artist's not coming out regardless. So you would be sitting there either complaining about openers or complaining about the show taking too long to start. So either way, you're going to get whatever you're getting. Boom, whatever. So we did Connecticut. That was a disaster show far as all the openers that I had to put on just to get bodies in the building. And then we did Mass, which is a better event. We did have openers and things like that, but it was another event. It did a little better, but it ended up being a bad night at the end of the night because I drove back to Rhode Island and I get a call that at 2-something in the morning that Slaughterhouse got kicked out of their rooms of the hotel by the racist management, and they were heading to prom, and we needed to scramble and get them rooms because they got kicked out. So we're scrambling trying to find rooms or whatever. It was just the craziest thing ever. So then after that, we did Prov and we smashed Providence, which I knew that was not going to be a problem because we had pre-sales and everything. So mind you, me and my wife, we worked these 3 shows for like 2 months, never collected $1 from this guy. We do everything we need to do to get these shows money. The money was taken by this guy or what have you. The little bit of stuff we took to travel and stuff like that don't even amount to what all the money the shows took in. So he's like, after all the money is added up, we'll divvy it up, blah, blah, blah. And this is one of the hardest lessons I learned in promotion business. Don't do 2 months of work without getting paid. Because at the end of the day, when it all settled down, we ended up with like $300. And we were told that that was the amount of cut we were owed because the show costs were what they were. And we had got $300. The Providence show, he told us to hold on to that, and that was all we got from this guy for that show. So we ran up and down to Mass several times, Connecticut several times. We put posters, flyers. We did 2-3 months of hard ass work, and we got $300. And that is the Slaughterhouse Experience that I remember, because after that we never worked with them again. And it is what it is. It ain't no bad blood, but it is what it is. As far as the management, it was not even the management, because this was the investor and this guy, whatever. And we ended up getting money from him a different way, and I'm gonna leave it at that. And we ended up getting money from him a different way, and I'm gonna leave it at that. But thank you for watching Promoter Story. This was my experience with Slaughterhouse, and it was a dope show. The shows were dope, but the behind the scenes stuff is very interesting. So peace out, CLBMG.com. Thank y'all for watching. Subscribe to Audio Liquor Magazine on Facebook, and I'll see y'all soon. Peace.